So, good morning and good evening. Welcome to the Circle of Harmony, where the topic this week is disharmony. Amazing are the works of grace, of course, but I have been doing it for over 2 years now, and somehow I have never been prompted to understand what harmony truly is until now. And I see that the last topic, and I think I said the same thing yesterday, but I was just feeling it again today, that the complaint-free world, it opened so much for me to see myself, the small, 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 small movements which cause this harmony in me and around me, that somehow now the receptivity to open towards learning harmony is more. So just wanted to be grateful to express that gratitude, that perfect timing, at least for me, being selfish here, but I'm hoping it will be good for everybody. So, one of the things that I think I would want to start with today is that, we have this perception, and we spoke about this during the last session too, and the complaint session, that we feel that we are good. I am good. I am simple. I like to keep things straight. But somehow the world around me is messy. And that is something that once we start taking things up with more mindfulness, we see that's not true. I am responsible for myself, and I am the creator of a lot of disharmonies that are happening around me, because I am also part of the problem, because I don't even recognize this is disharmony. So, and this is why the topic today was understanding disharmony so that one can move towards harmony. So last session, a few of us were present, and just to get our own brains a little exercise, we started with what harmony means to me in general. Like, what is the definition of harmony to me? So, since there are a few new people, like I think Juan had joined late, and Meera, Vishal, and Ritu weren't there. So, if I could request you, I think Juan, you had, I think, answered, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, you had joined in late and you had answered, but you feel free to answer again. Just to get us started, what does harmony mean to me? Like nothing big, nothing small, just what comes to me.
To me, I think harmony means that, or a state of my being where my body, mind, and my emotions are in sync, and none of them are revolting against each other. Because more often, or like 364 out of 365 days, there's like one of the elements keeps revolts, and then that causes disharmony in my being.
Yeah. And you're able to see that one of those are revolting or resisting or standing up, and that's causing disharmony.
Yeah, I think my problem is a little bit of opposite of what you said, that I don't believe that I am not part of the problem, but I believe that I'm too much of the problem.
Okay.
So yeah, I've started to realize that that should stop, because it's so being extremely self-critical, and that causes more disharmony than what actually is outside.
Yeah, thank you, Meera. Thank you. So you're already so much advanced that you have crossed that stage of others are a problem. You have hit the nail on the head. So thank you. Yeah. Last week we had read that Sri Aurobindo had said that, basically you should not blame yourself, because there is this disharmony also, right, in the universe and forces of that. So we just have to stop being puppeted by them. I'm obviously paraphrasing, but yeah, something in that, on those lines. So if anybody else wants to share, otherwise we'll dive straight in. I have some readings, small, small, small things which I like, which I would like to share. I don't know if Vishal or Ritu would like to comment on what harmony means to them. If yes, please unmute. Yes, Oman.
Well, yeah, last time I didn't speak. I didn't know the subject. I I like very much the teaching of a Sufi master called Inayat Khan. He used to use the image of music for the universe, for life. Like all the universe has rhythm, harmony, and 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 I think we can, we human beings are like little universe, and we have the work to we have a work to do, harmonizing all the aspects of ourselves, like our mind, our heart, our actions, our words, and and at the same time we may look a wider picture, and understand that at the same time we share our being with everyone else. So we could take a wider view, and understand the need to harmonize with others, with our family, with our friends, and even go more wide, and understand that even our relation with objects, with nature, with our responsibility for for our country, whatever, we can understand it in different sizes and different matters, that uh, yes, I believe harmony is so essential. And but the question was, what is harmony? It's not so easy. Um, yes, I have like this image of working together, of oneness, of understanding that there are really no enemies. Like this idea of working together, and uniting many parts in a single essence, like that would be harmony.
Yes, thank you. And that's what we had, basically last time discussed, that how it somewhere in me I could feel that if we are all doing or saying the same thing, that is harmony. But that's not it. What you just said, right? Doing it together, and yet we could be doing absolutely somehow different things, and yet there could be harmony. Like the orchestra and all different instruments playing different things, and yet because of the conductor, the way he's conducting things, there is harmony. So there's something in me which needs to be the conductor who can make the being in me, the various components in harmony. And of course, they say that if there is harmony, if there is peace inside, only then can I find peace outside. Otherwise, it's not possible. So that's where we start. Yeah. Thank you for sharing, Juan.
Yeah, I think Mira said it, really beautifully. I thought, like, sorry, I couldn't hear one. What noise outside today for some reason. Uh, can you hear me? You hear me okay, Taru?
Yes, yes, now we do.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I think just that's how would see it also. That, there's a conflict. I mean, no conflict in the being, but, we are every day seeing conflicts in ourselves. Uh, I mean, we may uh, attribute it to a situation or a person, but yes, the conflict is in us. I mean, I think, at least those of us who, have read Mother and Children, to realize that now it is, lifelong work to, develop that harmony or samatha, right? But that is, I think, definitely there. One does see it. I remember when we did I think it was the psychic being or something, right? There was this good exercise. I don't know if you remember saying, find, like, observe from which part of the being, we know we are multiple beings in the sense like, there is clearly you can see what is your emotions, what is your mind, what is your body. And to observe, it's actually a very good exercise. Which part of that being is driving this thing? Most of it many times you will see it is the vital, but then you can also see, it's the body. The body has tamas also. Mind has its own, basically patterns. So it's very interesting. That exercise is very interesting. And then you know where the conflicts are also. Your mind is telling you one thing, body is telling you something else, vital is telling you something else, and it's totally like a big mess, right?
Yes, that was in the psychic education session that we had briefly covered. That, yeah, and that is very enlightening, especially in the beginning. You realize that, oh, they are parts and they have roles and they are ruling me. So, yeah, thank you for that reminder. So I had pulled up a few things which I found to be helpful, and we'll be seeing them together. So starting with this one, this is for CWM and for September 1965, some answers from the mother. If anybody has a capacity, if they would like to just read it for us. They are very simple, just for a reflection to broaden our minds if it needs broadening, and it does.
Yeah, I can.
Thank you.
Sweet Mother, I really feel that there is a great lack of harmony and cooperation here among us and among the various departments. This results in a great waste of money and energy. Where does this disharmony come from, and when will it be set right? Or is this feeling I have only a reflection of my own nature? Here is the best answer to your questions written by Sri Aurobindo. Each one carries in himself the seeds of this disharmony, and his most urgent work is to purify himself of it by a constant aspiration. Each one carries in himself the seeds of this disharmony, and his most urgent work is to purify himself of it by a constant aspiration.
Yes, thank you, Meera. So the problem is not that others are problems. So a lot of us have realized that. Now we are realizing that we are the problem, or the problem is within us. So that is great. But obviously we cannot stop here. And now that we know that the problem is inside of me, I have to purify it. It's not possible I don't. So this, answer from Shri Aurobindo, that we do carry that seed. And my most urgent, again, a reminder that these masters and mystics, they don't use hyperbole like us, that Punjabi khoon type, that you exaggerate thing. So Sri Aurobindo is saying that my most urgent work is to purify myself by a constant aspiration, right? That if I'm just aspiring that I don't want this harmony within me, when I can only do it when I see it. And once I can see it clearly that, oh, I am the problem. And because, for me, lot of things are slippery slopes. So along with the other things that we can do, and we'll go through more things, a constant aspiration that, oh, I don't want it, or, I want harmony, that too needs to happen simultaneously. So, I mean, I somehow again, when we read, we basically give a lot of importance to prayers, to aspirations, to calls, to the divine, and yet just making sure we do it, we use it, right? Because what is the point of knowing so much if we are not using it? So, and I know at any time, if there's any concern, comments, we'll unmute, but we'll go to the next one. The topic is discontent with the mother. So if anybody has the capacity, we'll read the two passages starting from here.
Okay. I would suggest that in your relation with others, which seem always to have been full of disharmony, when incidents occur, it would be much better for you not to take the standpoint that you are all in the right and they are all in the wrong. It would be wiser to be fair and just in reflection, seeing where you have gone astray and even laying stress on your own fault and not on theirs. This would probably lead to more harmony in your relations with others. At any rate, it, it would be more conducive to your inner progress, which is more important than to be the top dog in a quarrel. Neither it is well to cherish a spirit of self-justification and self-righteousness and a wish to conceal either from yourself or from the mother your faults or your errors.
Yeah, I think we can stop here. This is fine. This should do. Thank you, Juan. So, I might say that I know I am the problem and I see some problems, and yet there is this belief in me that, but I am a good person, which I am. So somehow I do manage to see myself in better lights. But when I look at what I am doing, this thing has to completely go. So Sri Aurobindo here is suggesting, yes, it's Sri Aurobindo because he's saying in your letters to mother, I would suggest that in your relations with other, which seems to be full of disharmony, it would be much better for you not to take the standpoint that you are right. Because even if something happens to us, when we are telling it to somebody, we are like, but I did this and yet the other misunderstood, something like this. So that kind of needs to be further chiseled out of us, that I have this feeling that somehow I'm right and wrong. So he says it would be wiser to be fair and just in reflection, that when I'm with myself, it would be wiser if I can be fair and just, seeing where I have gone astray and even laying stress on my own faults and not on them. And this, he's suggesting to a sadhak, an ashramite, would lead to more harmony in my relationships with other. And this, we love his sense of humor. It's rare, but it's beautiful that, this is what I want. I do something in me a lot of times, especially while we are growing up, in maturity, not in age, we do want to be the top dog in a quarrel. Who had the last word? Who had the smartest comeback? But it's not important, that just, I don't know, is takes me further away. The quarrels between the rights and the wrongs take me away from calm and peace, and I don't know what is most important. So, neither is it well to cherish a spirit of self-justification, self-righteousness, because here again there is this thing in me which wants to prove I'm virtuous, I'm just, I am right, and in that I end up losing my temper, my cool, I end up causing a lot of disharmony within and without, because I feel I was right, I was justified. And that is a root of a lot of problems. Yeah, I'll pause here. I've gone a little fast, but if there's anything, otherwise we have more stuff to go through. Okay, next. Yeah, a little bit. We'll just read a little bit from here. If anybody has the capacity, otherwise I'll read.
Yeah, I'll read.
Thank you.
There is a particular aspect of the creation, a very modern aspect maybe, a need to get out of disorder and confusion, of disharmony and confusion. I'll start again. There's a particular aspect of the creation, a very modern aspect maybe, a need to get out of disorder and confusion, of disharmony and confusion. A confusion, a disorder, which assumes all forms, turns into struggles, pointless efforts, and wasted energy. It depends on which level you stand on, but materially, in action, it means unnecessary complications, wasted energy and materials, waste of time, incomprehension, misunderstanding, confusion, disorder, what in ancient days they called deformation, crookedness in the Vedas. I don't know the French word for it. It's something crooked, which instead of shooting straight to the goal, weaves its way in sharp and unnecessary zigzags. It's one of the things farthest from the harmony of a purely divine action, which is something so simple it looks like child's play, and direct, without those absurd and completely useless twists and turns. Well, it is clearly the same phenomenon, that disorder is a way to stimulate the need for pure and divine simplicity.
Yes, thank you. So again, for me, it just meant, how for being good, I often invite a lot of disharmony in my life. So it assumes all forms, turns into struggles, pointless efforts, and wasted energy. Like, am I convinced that all my desire, my efforts towards proving a point, to say that I am right, it often is leading towards a struggles, wasted efforts, energies. And again, how I make things crooked and not like a child. Like I form so many twists and turns. No wonder, it was surprising to me. And yet, those serials that had started, I don't know, 10 years back that have now the rage, the Saas Bahu serials in India, there was so much resonance in people for that. There was so much politics, the home politics, and I don't know what all. And we were resonating, right? Those series were doing so well, full of disharmony, full of why did that person say this? Why did I, whatever. So, yeah, just that what is it bringing? So, if I am recognizing what the things, the actions, the thoughts I am giving out, what it's leading to, and not really taking me anywhere, all it brings is more disharmony and never any permanent clarity. Maybe a temporary clarity. I might feel that yes, I did good, but nothing ever good comes out of it. Okay. Yeah, we'll just read some more and then we'll open it up further for reflections. Again, just for us to widen our thing, and I'll read this. So here it is. Who is saying this? I'm sorry, one second. It's the mother, and she says that you see some disharmony somewhere, and you say, if this disharmony disappeared, how much better would it be? So we recognize it, we say it, and we wish it would disappear. But why don't you think that it could be done? If you look at yourself in quite an objective way, not with that sort of attachment one has for one's little person, but quite objectively you look at yourself. And this is the problem. I think this is what Juan was also referring to when he had started, when he was sharing about harmony, that seeing the bigger picture. But we are so focused on myself and I'm so close to myself that I don't see often the wrongs that I am doing. So mother says it can go if you look at yourself in an objective way, not with that sort of attachment one has for one's little person, but quite objectively you look at yourself as you would look at another person and tell yourself, but this thing is not altogether in harmony with that. And if you look yet more closely, it becomes very interesting. You discover that this disharmony is the expression of a defect in your character. So if I look at myself, and I think that's what somehow the complaint free topic had pointed out, that there are defects in my character, and it is because in your character there is something a bit twisted, not quite harmonious. Like there's something in me which is seeking disharmony, which is seeking uh, unpeace over peace, right over peace. And in your body that is reproduced somewhere, you try to arrange it in your body. I think no, this is going towards integral healing, but basically this, that this for us to get out, we'll have to be more objective in looking at situations as to what is really happening, not just from my tinted glasses that I've been wearing from years and years and seeing things in black and white. And sometimes, there are so many other things that work. Sometimes we have dreams in which we, if somebody has done something wrong, we see a dream and we see, oh, we could also have done the same thing, right? So again, that is a different view, right? Like, because I am so used to looking at, my tunnel, narrow vision, that this is right, this is wrong. And some such things, they shake us, they make us think that, yes, things are bigger than what I take them to be. So these are the basic stuff, and now I have something where Mother and Sri Aurobindo tells us how to move beyond this. What are the cures of this problem now that if we have fully accepted the problem? But before that, I went too fast. I got excited. So I'll pause and hi Nandini, I didn't see you over here. So any comments, questions, anything we need to go over if I was too fast? Yes, Ritu.
Yeah, so here, I'm just reminded of one thing, like when there is disharmony, a lot of times what happens is that, like, we see just our aspect of things. Like earlier, we have shared about that elephant story, that there's this elephant and five blind men are holding different paths and just guessing, okay, this is probably how the elephant looks by touching the elephant's legs. The other one is touching its tail and thinking that maybe it's like a broom. So when there are situations wherein naturally we would justify ourselves that yes, this is a situation wherein I should get upset, I should get angry because I'm justified, I'm right. So at that time, we are just seeing our point of view. So there's a word in Hindi, it's called ekant. That means just seeing one point of view. And then there's another word called anekant. That means seeing a lot of other points of views. So probably, if we try to just maybe at that time broaden ourselves to just see a broader picture, then probably it might help us a little bit to be at less disharmony.
Yes, thank you. Never knew. I thought ekant just meant quiet, like ekant mein baith jao. I didn't realize it
No,
meant, yeah, that's
this
nice.
earlier, the original meaning of it, when we do the
Yeah,
sandhi,
yeah,
it's ek ant. Matlab using just one end of
yeah,
it.
beautiful. Yes, yes, nice. Thank you. And in addition to what you're just sharing, once I can clearly see how much disharmony my focus on myself causes me. and how much pain that disharmony causes me and others, that also helps. You know how we often discuss, and Monica's one of the favorite things she used to say was, she still says it, that you have to be disgusted by yourself, right? Like then only you will transcend. Okay, what am I doing? What am I doing? What's wrong with me? Kind of a thing. So that disgust also needs to happen to push us to be more. That me and my small story, me and my small story. And while there's a whole world, beautiful world waiting, there's something I read again that was nice, that if I want to be small and if I just want the petty, I can look at newspapers and I don't know, read magazines and hear the news. But if I want to see the beauty, if I want to, universe has everything. It depends on where I am going. If I go for a walk in the nature, I will feel that harmony, that beauty. If I switch on the news, I will feel that smallness and fear and, oh my God, what's happening in the world. So it's not that not it's not there. It's what I am opening myself to. And if I just always am holding me, I'm holding myself very small. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. It's beautifully calm. Yeah. Any more comments? Okay. Okay. If anybody has the capacity, we'll take this one now. I think maybe this one. Yeah, I'll read. So the question is, how can that be dissolved? Torture, for instance, that sort of thing, how can it be dissolved from the earth consciousness? So it no longer happens again. How can it be done? So torture, I felt again was related to, we torture ourselves, we torture others. So mother says, oh, for all really monstrous things, there is only one force that can dissolve them. I know it in principle, but now I know it in practice. It is the force of love. Love is truly all victorious, but true love, not what men call love, not that true divine love. You see one drop of that in its perfection, and all shadows disappear, all disharmony disappears. It can only be in perfection, in its essential purity. It truly is all powerfulness, sorry. And without the sense of victory, that's what it is so wonderful. It's the all victorious which doesn't at all have the sense of being victorious, not at all, at all, at all. So basically, the reason I had liked this was that I see that, there's, okay, just talking about relationships, that I am more sweet to maybe some relationships. Some I kind of am very discerned about that. Oh, what am I saying? Where am I going? Let me watch my words and stuff. And some I would rather maybe stay away because I don't, there are different kinds, and we all know that, right? We have these different dynamics in our relationships a lot of times with people. And where there is love, where there is that acceptance, I see that, it doesn't matter what the action is. Depending on what I feel the person is, how I feel the person is, my reaction is different. If it's done from somebody who I basically accept, I'll say, oh, he must have forgotten, she must have forgotten, it's all right. She didn't mean it. If there's somebody, I'm more cautious about, or I feel, she's always making mistakes, I'll say, oh my God, I knew it. This is what she means. This is what she always does. So if I look at it, that the action is the same, but my reaction varies, what is the difference between it? Why does that happen? And I have practically experienced this very recently, and that's why I could very strongly resonate with this, that there is something in me which needs to develop more love towards, that oneness, or that just anytime there is a little bit less of love and more, I don't know, judgment, or I'm sitting with my eyes open that I'll see what mistake they do, then I'm always going to find faults. So that acceptance is not there. So that love and acceptance, if it's there, and that is why I think when we see or hear the stories of masters and mystics and saints, because probably they have realized that oneness, we feel they just love everybody, right? Like, and they don't have to say it, they don't have to express it. You are in their presence and you feel that love. So again, for a lot of us, it might be a very distant concept, that yes, that oneness, yes, I've heard about it, but how does it affect my life, right? My life is what it is. I try to love, I am a good person. And yet, knowing that there's something in me which also doesn't love fully. It has divisions in love, it has categorizations in love. There are some people who we say, even if they do 100 murders, they are fine, we love them. And others, if they step on a toe, we are like, what kind of a person are you? What are you doing? So the root of that differentiation, that division is within me. Let me look at it also now, if I'm not looking at it, so that it can be humbled and purified further, so that I can be less of these divisions. Then only, how they say in supramental consciousness, there is complete unity of all oppositions. But if there is so much division within me, at small aspects, how am I preparing for that? Not that I need to, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but it might look distant, but yet we can start looking at it, and there will be more light on it. When there will be more light on it, more veils will be shed, and we might see more. Yes, I'm just resharing this. So one drop of that, Mother says, that pure love, not that I love you, you love me, love, in its perfection, and all shadows disappears, all disharmony disappears. So just something to reflect on. If we can work on it right away, great. Otherwise, we can just keep it, listen to it, and things will be shown to us. Any reflections are welcome.
Yeah, that was very beautiful. Actually, we were just with our local group here. We were having, and we dwelt a lot on love, actually. So that is so beautiful. It is, and even in Savitri, you see, love is the overarching theme. And we like to think of Sri Aurobindo as, I mean, he's written all these books, Synthesis of Yoga, Life Divine, but if you see the emphasis is always on love. And people may not realize that, but it is quite evident if one wants to see it. Uh, just reflecting on this a little bit, that so love, as you said, right, is the answer. But then that true love can only come from an understanding. Then one sees that this is all a manifestation of her, right? So then, if you see that, one point I did want to make is this, acceptance does not mean like, how should I think Shubhendu said it very beautifully. You do not lose the faculty of discrimination. This is a very, I have seen many people, I have, so many friends also who are, uh, spiritually inclined. I think they lose, they feel, no, they have to be good, so, and then they will suffer oppression also. And it's a, so, but the point in developing this, one notices that, there is something in you that is reacting. That is the part that has to be. So you can be, you can say something which needs to be said at that time. It may be direct, it may be the other person may find it hurtful. I don't know. But you do not have that sensation of egoism in you. Now, that's not easy because sometimes that comes, especially if somebody says something to you or whatever, right? We want to react. But if one can do it without that, so you're just doing it because it is a thing that has to be done. And the whole Gita is about that, right? I mean, the ultimate dilemma for him, he has to kill his own relatives and his, teacher and this and that. So I think that is also there. But yes, I think the love part is the most beautiful, which is if one sees that, I mean, and then where is the question of superiority? Everybody's on their journey, and, it's like I think you were giving the example of a seed, right, the other day. Well, some seed has grown this much, some seed has grown to a bigger tree, but they're all going to grow, right? So, the sense of egoism that comes into us, oh, I'm like this and I'm so good and this person is very inferior. And, then that means that division you still see. So that, yeah, just sharing some reflections on that.
Yes, thank you. And what you have shared opens up very beautifully to the next sharing. Again, it's about virtue. What you said, I found it very beautiful. And it's very true that I want to conform and I want everyone to have that image about me. And for a lot of time, in lot of times, in lot of lives, in most lives, we see a lot of oppression, a lot of suffering, because I think this would be the right thing to do. That even reminded me that I'm forgetting the line, but there's this beautiful line in Savitri that, they are tied with a sacred thread. As in, you are tied, but you are told that the thread with which you tied, the rope with which you are tied, is a sacred rope. Especially in India, this happens a lot, right? And there are so many things we keep doing, thinking that this is virtuous, this is sacred, this is higher than me. Who am I to question it? And I suffer and I don't protest and I keep in that loop. That's really sad. Thank you for bringing that again. So, if anybody has the capacity, we'll be reading this. So, these are aphorisms 81, 82, 83. And mother, basically, I would want us to read the elaboration of the mother on aphorism 82. We can read 83 too, but I mean, they're both beautiful. I'll go. I don't think anybody can. Okay. So, aphorism 82, Sri Aurobindo has said that if men took life less seriously, they could very soon make it more perfect. God never takes his work seriously. Therefore, one looks out on this wonderful universe. Probably he has never tried that. May all trees look the same height, same size, my idea of perfection. So, if men took life less seriously, they could very soon make it more perfect. How beautiful and contradictory this is to our usual thought. So mother is elaborating on this, that one might ask how taking things seriously has prevented life from being more perfect, right? So mother says, virtue has always spent its time eliminating whatever is found bad in life. And if all the virtues of the various countries of the world had been put together, very few things would remain in existence. So just pausing here to make sure we understand that, we feel this is virtuous and this is unvirtuous. This is moral, this is not moral. And yet she is saying that if something is so absolutely a virtue, how can it vary from culture to culture, tradition to tradition, time to time, country to country? So we must think about that. So if all the virtues of the various countries of the world were to put together, there would be very few things that would remain which would be virtuous, because they contradict each other, and in that contradiction they lose their absoluteness. So we must not give our life to that. Moving further, virtue claims to seek perfection, but perfection is a totality, right? Virtue claims to seek perfection, but we know perfection is a totality. So the two movements contradict each other. A virtue that eliminates, reduces, fixes limits, and a perfection that accepts everything, rejects nothing, but puts each thing in its place, obviously cannot agree that it can never be equal to perfection. So taking life seriously generally consists of two movements. The first one is to give importance to things that probably have none. This is something that hits us really hard when we start looking at these movements. So the first one, I'm repeating what Mother has said, is to give importance. I give importance to things that probably have none. And the second is to want life to be reduced to a certain number of qualities that are considered pure and worthy of existence. So this is where the non-acceptance comes, the judgment comes, the right, the wrong, the moralities come, and my life is just spent in then just judgment and trying to be this or trying to make the other that, and life is gone. So giving importance to things that probably have none and wanting life to be reduced to a certain number of qualities that are considered pure and worthy of existence. Mother further says, in some people, for example, those Sri Aurobindo speaks about here, the polite or the Puritans, this virtue becomes dry, arid, grey, aggressive, and it finds fault everywhere. In everything that is joyful and free and happy, they are finding faults. So the only way to make life perfect, I mean here, life on earth, of course, is to look at it from high enough. So again, the point that Juan had made about having a further look from above is to look at it from high enough to see it as a whole, not only in its present totality, but in the whole of the past, present, and future, what it has been, what it is, what it will be. One must be able to see everything at once. And that is why she says that, we can never judge any situation, any circumstances, any suffering, any person's action, reaction, because we don't know where they are coming from and we don't know where that is taking us or them. So to look at it from high enough in its full totality, not just the totality that I see right now. So what it has been, what it is, what it will be, one must be able to see everything at once, because that is the only way to put everything in its place. Nothing can be eliminated, nothing should be eliminated, but each thing must be in its place in total harmony with all the rest. And then all these things that seem so bad, so reprehensible, so unacceptable to the Puritan mind, would become movements of delight and freedom in a totally divine light. So look at how it would shift from being bad to a delight. That is its possibility if I start looking at it right, if I understand it in its right spirit and light. And then nothing would prevent us from knowing, understanding, feeling, and living this wonderful laughter of the Supreme, who takes infinite delight in watching himself live infinitely. So, again, the thing is about not taking things so seriously. This delight, this wonderful laughter that dissolves every shadow, every pain, every suffering. You only have to go deep enough within yourself to find the inner sun, to let yourself be flooded by it, the inner sun. And then there is nothing but a cascade of harmonious, luminous, sunlit laughter which leaves no room for any shadow or pain. So the answer again here is like it's for mostly everything. We have to go within. We have to look within. The eyes have to turn within. Because inside is that sun with the cascade of harmonious, luminous, sunlit laughter. How beautiful. I don't know if we should stop here. It's a long one. I think maybe just one more paragraph. In fact, even the greatest difficulties, even the greatest sorrows, even the greatest physical pain, if you can look at them from that standpoint, from there you see the unreality of the difficulty, the unreality of the sorrow, the unreality of the pain, and there is nothing but a joyful and luminous vibration. And the sun of divine laughter is at the center of all things, the truth of all things. We must learn to see it, to feel it, to live it. Yeah, I'll stop here. I think a lot has been shared today. And
So beautiful, this word.
Yeah, this
That,
passage is very beautiful, though. Sorry, what?
oh no, please. I wanted to know which book is this, or would you share the link?
yeah, because for me, it's just use incarnate word, whatever I need to find. So I'll share the link and yeah, I'll just show this. These are
Thank
aphorisms basically, right? Like Sri Aurobindo had written these and mother had commented on them. So I'll share
you.
the link.
Yeah, I think Mother has commented on many, I think, right? Or
Mm.
I don't know all, but
Yeah,
except
many,
I
because see,
think
there are
there's
three and yeah, sorry, I don't know.
a book called Thoughts and Aphorisms by Sri Aurobindo and commentaries by the mother. So the book is called Thoughts and Aphorisms, commentaries by mother.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Nand.
So we'll be ending in 2 minutes, and just so that I want it to go in very strongly today, I don't know, I feel I'm high on caffeine, although I haven't had any. But when I was reading this, I was also reminded of something from the synthesis of yoga, very short, 3, 4 lines. I thought we'll read it. The chapter is the yoga of integral knowledge. So again, nothing we don't know, and yet because we forget, we'll just read this. If anybody wants to read it, this is where we'll end if there's no comment. Okay, I'll read. Sri Aurobindo says in the synthesis of yoga that we must recognize that our primary aim in knowledge must be to realize our own supreme self more than that self in others or as the Lord of nature or as the all. For that is the pressing need of the individual to arrive at the highest truth of his own being, to set right its disorders, confusions, false identifications, to arrive at its right concentration and purity, and to know and mount to its source. So, lot of times we get staggered, we get like horrified, we get shocked as to what is the other doing, where is the world going, what is happening, why is, are we blind, are we stupid, are the others blind, are the others stupid? But he's just saying that we must remember that the primary aim in knowledge must be to realize our supreme self more than that self in others. So, right now, since we are working, we are on this path, we call ourselves, we want to be true sadhaks, and sadhaks mean to sadhu something, right? To perfect something, to correct something. So, anytime when I'm pointing the finger, you know how they say it, when I'm pointing the finger at something, I must see that, three of the fingers and maybe the thumb, four are pointing back at me while I am pointing one at the other. So I must look at the whole dynamics and see, okay, this is the situation, but okay, maybe the other is wrong 99. But where is my wrong? That one point, let me work on that. Let me work on that. And then things start moving forward, right? When then there's more purity, more simplicity, more honesty, more true honesty and purity, and not just assume that, oh, if it's coming through me, it must be right, because sadly there is something in me which believes that. So thank you so much, and I'm sorry if this was too fast today, and we'll end the session here. Thank you for joining in, for staying in till the end. Thanking Grace, thanking the Divine for their presence, for these beautiful words of wisdom that show us the path if we are willing to follow, aspiring and praying for the will to follow, for the courage to follow, for the grace to follow, for a more wider receptivity and acceptance and plasticity of my being. May I work towards true joy, true peace, towards true, the absolute truth, and may we all have the same aim in life. Sharing the merit of my actions, my deeds, my good thoughts with everybody. May all beings be truly well and truly happy. This I pray. Thank you so much.